Welcome to Module 1 of our course, and in this presentation, I want to give you a brief review of this week's expectation, the resources, and some assignments. Now, although this information only covers week 1, it will mimic how the other modules are formatted, so it gives you an understanding of how to navigate through the course. Now, once you've logged into Moodle, go ahead and scroll down to the Module 1 section. Now, you should have already viewed the introduction presentation and navigated through the links and resources prior to this section. If you haven't done that, I suggest doing it before you move on. This week, the information is broken up into 2 parts. Part 1 must be completed by Thursday. If you fail to complete this part by Thursday, you can be administratively dropped from the class. This information is going to serve as attendance and participation during the first week, so be sure you complete this before Thursday. As you look through the forms I've included, you'll see the first is just a quick survey, current student teaching placement, and this is to let me know where you are in your placement. So just go ahead and select the one that best represents where you are and click Save My Choice. This also allows me to know where you are in your development as an educator and allows you to see where other students are as well. Because this is a fully online course, there are a lot of students taking this class from one of the various FPU campuses. So it lets you know where others are also who you may be able to connect with. Now, after completing the quick survey, you're going to complete a discussion form, which is the 1.1 introduction form, said No Health Teacher Ever. When you select this form, additional information is going to be available. Go ahead and read through this information completely so you have a better understanding of what the expectations are for this form. And this basically allows you to introduce yourself and share some information, including your story as to why you felt you're called to teaching. Also, you'll create a said No Health Teacher Ever meme. And this is just a fun example to get you thinking about health education and breaking the ice in the online course setting. Go ahead and select the link just to see some examples, but I want you to have some fun with this and I want you to be creative. Now, here's a tip for you as you create your online post and threaded discussions. Get into the habit of developing your post in Microsoft Word first. And this not only helps to make sure that your work is saved, but it also provides a way of checking for errors before you submit your assignment. So after completing your discussion forum post, you're going to update your Moodle profile. So select the form and follow the directions to update your profile. And this is going to be maintained in Moodle as you complete the course. And it helps me to place a face with the name, even though it's just that small image. Next is part 2 of module 1. And this gets a bit into the health topics as well as the course textbook. Assignment 1.2, Healthier Students Are Better Learners by Bosch, requires some supplemental reading. You'll read portions of the article and then respond to some of the posted questions. So follow the written guidelines and respond to the questions that I have listed there for you. And you'll notice that with your forum discussions, you're also required to respond to at least one of your classmates with your own comments, insights, agreements, or questions. Now, many students don't like these forums and the responses because they really fail to understand the importance of these. With your forum responses, you should be mimicking the in-class discussions that take place in a face-to-face setting. I want you to challenge yourself to see and understand the views of others and critically evaluate the thoughts and opinions of others in comparison to your own. There's a lot of learning that takes place or should take place within these discussion forums, so don't take those for granted. Also, when you're responding in your discussion forums, avoid those quick and simple statements like, I like what you said, or I agree with your point, or I agree with your point. Be thoughtful in how you respond within the forums. Also, in your writing, I want you to get into the habit of understanding APA formatting and just good writing, and also knowing when and how to credit the work of others through in-text citations. If you're unfamiliar with how to properly cite something in text, which is extremely important to avoid plagiarism, go ahead and take a look at the in-text citations, the basics link that I've provided for you. There's also an example of an in-text citation provided for you here, so you'll kind of get a better understanding as to how that is done. Now, anytime you have reading assignments, remember, I want you to get into the habit of citing those regularly within your responses. Related to the forum posts, you'll also have several wiki posts throughout the class, and these are good ways to get some informal information about the content being discussed and to process what you've been learning. In the first wiki, you're going to take on the role of a student that has faced one of the health-related issues you're reading about. These are typically powerful and moving wikis because the health challenges students face are real, and some students have a variety of these issues that they bring into a classroom. So I want you to discuss how you feel about a particular health issue, what are the obstacles faced, and describe your interaction with the teacher. Now, with the wikis, they will not track or identify who you are. They won't list your name. So at the end of your post, be sure you include your name so I'll know whose post went with what. So follow the directions posted there to complete your wiki. And if you're the first one to post, you'll just select Create Page and include your response. Be careful not to delete anyone's response. Simply include yours below the previous one and just continue that so everyone has their additions to the wiki. If you have any questions or problems with this, don't hesitate to let me know, because sometimes what I see or what you see in the presentation may slightly differ than what you actually see when you open up a wiki or a form. So just send me a message if something doesn't look right. Now, after your wiki post, there's assignment 1.3, which covers chapter 1 in your textbook. You're going to read chapter 1 and remember to take notes as you read. A good study habit which helps with content retention or remembering what has been read is taking notes as you read, whether it's writing in the margins or on another piece of paper, highlighting important content, key phrases, reviewing those later. It's important to practice good study habits because you're going to post those notes that you've taken, and they should demonstrate that you actually read the entire chapter and pulled out the important content, and you're also able to make sense of what that content is in an organized way. Remember to cite the text as well. So you'll read the information, you'll take your notes, and you'll reflect on the posted questions. Anytime you're submitting something, again, save it and submit it as a Microsoft Word document, as this is easily viewed by myself as well as everyone else in the class. If you save it and submit it in a different format, I may not be able to view it, which means you won't receive credit for it. So be sure that you do this. After you've completed that, there's the chapter 2 quiz, assignment 1.4. Now, there's no time limit for the quizzes, and you can take them as many times as you need it to get 100%. And this is really a method of checking to see if you're keeping up with the readings and you're understanding the information. The next section is the module feedback, or wrap up and self-evaluation. Now, with this, what I found is that each student views the course a little bit differently. And this feedback allows me to understand how you are approaching the content and to help you understand a little bit better and to guide you if needed, providing more feedback. It also helps me to modify the content to make it a little easier to understand. So this is going to help me create the course to provide the best learning experience for you. Now, within this form, you'll see that it is a journal, and I'm looking for your brief 1 to 2 sentence responses to each of the questions listed. You're going to copy and paste the chart also that's provided there. Again, it's best to do this in Microsoft Word and then copy and paste that information back over into Moodle. So for this module, the self-evaluation, you can give yourself up to 9 points, and I really want you to think about if you were challenging yourself within your responses and within your work that you've completed this week. Do you feel that you were thorough, that you were in depth, and you were thoughtful, and did you post everything on time? So you'll complete a similar self-evaluation at the end of each module, so be sure that you're thorough and complete when doing that. Lastly is the Module 1 survey, and this is another quick survey which just simply asks how long did it take you to complete each entire module. This is a 1-unit course, and it's broken up over 6 weeks. That means there's a lot of material to cover in a short period of time, but the expectation is that you'll spend between 8 to 11 hours a week on course information. And I do strongly suggest that you work a little bit each day and not put off the course expectations until the weekend. Students that set aside time daily to work on course material tend to have less stress and more success in the class. So that's a quick overview of Module 1. I look forward to getting to know you a little bit more and reading your reflections and seeing your participation in the course. Again, if you have any questions throughout this week, please feel free to contact me. Take care for now.